After more than 3 years of waiting, 2 Santa Clarita families will get some closure tomorrow.
This week, the Cougars will return home to face off against Grossmont at 7 p.m. at Cougar Stadium.
But as COC students may have noticed in the Honor Grove earlier this week,
develop people who build better tomorrows.
This is Kelly Price reporting from Vista Valencia for COC News.
Tonight on Canyons News, we have the latest on today's violent bus crash that left 13 people injured and one of Santa Clarita's main arteries shut down.
And local residents put pressure on the Santa Clarita City Council about the dangers of e-bikes. We'll hear their concerns.
And California's governor's race heats up as the candidates tackle policy issues. Voters will soon decide who will lead the nation's most populous state next. Tonight's edition of Canyons News starts now.
How will this affect the rest of the job market?
Welcome to Canyons News.
Live from Mentry Hall, with news from around the Santa Clarita Valley. This is Canyons News.
Good evening, I'm Leah Pastorio.
And I'm Terry Collier. Today is May 13th, 2026, and here's the latest from Canyons News. More than a dozen people are recovering from injuries today after a gravel truck slammed into multiple vehicles, including a city bus. Take a listen to some of the radio traffic from the scene.
All right, let's get a total of 10 ambulances. We could stage them at Center Point and Golden Valley.
Now, the crash happened shortly after 9:30 a.m. at the intersection of Center Point Parkway and Golden Valley Road in Santa Clarita. That's where the gravel truck slammed into Santa Clarita's transit bus before crashing into 2 additional vehicles. The truck then continued on and landed on a car. One person was trapped inside the wreckage. According to investigators, the fully loaded gravel truck was traveling northbound on Golden Valley Road. It then failed to negotiate a right turn onto eastbound Center Point Parkway. That's when it collided with the city bus. Los Angeles County firefighters requested 10 ambulances to the scene as crews treated at least 13 patients. One person was reported in critical conditions. 9 others suffered injuries described as less than severe. The crash remains under investigation.
Canvas is back online after a recent outage impacted students and instructors across campus. The system has been restored, but the impact to campus communities was felt nationwide. For many students, Canvas is used daily for assignments, grades, quizzes, and communication with instructors. During the outage, some students were temporarily unable to access coursework or class materials. College of the Canyons officials say systems are now back online, but the temporary shutdown highlighted just how dependent classrooms have become on digital learning platforms.
The hackers were able to get in and take over some pages of certain institutions so that when people logged on, they saw a message from the hackers. What Canvas ended up doing was just taking the whole platform down so that they could go through and take their security steps.
The outage sparked conversations about how heavily students and colleges rely on online learning systems for day-to-day instruction.
So during the outage, our focus was really on trying to make sure that people were updated with as much information as was available. And so, we did send out messaging both to employees and students, trying to let them know what was going on. But given the complexity of the situation, I think people understood that these things take time. And the last thing that we wanted to do was rush into anything and get it back online and then find out that we've only created a bigger problem.
Students are encouraged to contact instructors directly if they continue to experience any issues. For Canyons News, I'm Leah Pastorio. Canvas's parent company Instructure reportedly paid a ransom to the hackers behind the attack. The amount is not known, but the company says the stolen data was returned to them and has been deleted.
Community concerns over growing over the reckless electronic bike riding. Frustrations over e-bikes and confusion surrounding electric vehicle laws were brought to Santa Clarita City Council last night. Jessica Makashima has more on the rising controversy.
So we'll turn the F into an L. We're losing the battle on e-bikes.
Concerns surrounding e-bikes and electric motorcycles have now reached the Santa Clarita City Council as residents raise the pressure and concerns about safety on roads and trails. Part of the concern comes from confusion over what legally qualifies as an e-bike.
I think people get confused because they see both out on the roads. They both have two wheels, and they see one that's electric and one that's regular, but they just look at it as a bike no matter what.
Bike experts say much of the confusion comes from riders not fully understanding the legal differences between e-bikes and electric motorcycles.
They're obviously out there riding recklessly. They're riding on the bike paths, exceeding that limit, which is not legal.
Many electric motorcycles can easily be mistaken for standard e-bikes, adding to the growing confusion between the two vehicles. And to add even more into the mix, neighbors are concerned about reckless riding in their neighborhoods and on their trails.
Maybe you should have a camera out there because these kids are not kids, they're punks.
They are gangs. It's a modern day posse. Parents with strollers are stepping off of paths. Toddlers are being nearly clipped. Near misses happen constantly. And other California cities are already seeing the consequences of waiting too long to act.
As concerns surrounding electric bikes continue reaching city leaders and residents alike, many families are still trying to navigate the growing popularity of the vehicles.
Yes, we do have a lot of customers coming in and buying for their kids. And not only kids like, teenagers, but like children. There are people coming in that want to have for like a toddler or a 5-year-old an e-bike, which you have to be over 16 to operate.
As electric bikes continue growing in popularity across Santa Clarita, conversations surrounding safety, enforcement, and rider awareness are continuing to grow alongside them. Reporting for Canyons News, I'm Jessica Makashima.
Park goers at Six Flags found themselves on an emotional roller coaster Monday morning. A bomb threat prompted a large law enforcement response and a delay to the park's opening. Sheriff's deputies were on scene shortly before 8 a.m. Authorities have not released details about the nature of the threat, and no explosive devices have been found. The park reopened shortly after noon. During the closure, people from across Southern California and as far away as the United Kingdom were left waiting outside of the park.
My son's first visit, and we just got passes, and he wanted to come out and have some excitement on the roller coasters, and now we pulled up to this.
Travelled from the UK, hoping to get in, but hoping it opens in the next 2 hours. But yeah, it's quite sad.
And, what was your hope when you got here this morning? What were you actually hoping to see?
We were hoping to just go into Six Flags, go on the roller coasters, have a good day, travel back to Las Vegas, and then go home on Thursday, back to the UK.
A man is recovering after falling nearly 100 feet down an embankment after a crash. The crash happened near the Old Road and Rye Canyon in Valencia just after 10 p.m. CHP says officers and firefighters found the pickup truck overturned in a ditch. Unconfirmed reports indicate the driver was trapped after the truck went off the bridge. Firefighters were able to rescue and free the driver from the vehicle. The driver was rushed to Henry Mayo Hospital with unknown injuries. Authorities are investigating the crash.
A recent Supreme Court ruling has split voters and districts across the country. Reporter Robin Abshire has more.
In April, the United States Supreme Court passed a vote that limited Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. The decision changes how states' redistricting can be challenged, and the impact has spread across the country.
The Supreme Court had now said political gerrymandering, drawing districts in a way that benefits one party over another, there was no role for the federal courts in trying to prevent that. But they couldn't do racial gerrymandering. Right? They couldn't draw it based on race.
Now,
This decision has less of an impact on us, given that California passed Proposition 50 last year, redrawing our congressional districts. But for other states like Louisiana and Virginia, the race is only just beginning to create new district maps that may favor one party over the other.
And actually, my point of view on the Louisiana thing is that it does, and Texas, is that both add to the sort of widening of our political discourse, and I think it's more polarizing.
These new district maps won't just change who holds the seats. They'll change who individual voters are represented by, and not everyone is happy about it.
And this is not right or left or Democrat, Republican. It's the congressional ruling class and the voter are being sort of driven a wedge between.
As the effects of this vote sweep from state to state, this ruling has set a precedent that the nation won't soon forget. For Canyons News, I'm Robin Abshire.
A campus event called Democracy in Crisis brought together students, community leaders, and elected officials for a day focused on civic engagement and open dialogue across political differences. Canyons News reporter Nevin Herndon has more.
Just last week, we saw the Supreme Court destroy what little remained of the Voting Rights Act.
The COC University Center presented Democracy in Crisis, held by the Civic Engagement Club and Hub Club. This event aimed to be a day of education and civil discussion.
There's so few students who are in those spaces where decisions are made that when students come in and speak up, they really have an outsized power and voice because we know that they're representing so many more who could not be there. There's a lot that we agree on, that we can come together on important issues and figure out the path to them getting involved.
Getting involved in an event like this is as simple as checking the bulletin boards dotted around campus. You can also view the event calendar on the Canyons M-App as well as the physical version outside the Campus Life office. With any event that has anything to do with politics, it's very important for both sides to have a voice.
I thought it looked like a campaign event, and I didn't see any Republican represented. So what I was trying to do is get people to focus on hearing the other side. Get involved. Don't get your news from one source. Read the details, not the sound bites.
Events like this highlight why it's so important to have civil discussions and why it's healthy to debate topical issues in our government, especially in an environment willing to listen. For Canyons News, I'm Nevin Herndon.
Millions of Californians will make their voices heard by submitting ballots for the state's next governor.
Canyons News reporter Julian Alvarado is live in Valencia to tell us more about how this electoral process is moving forward. Julian?
As of May 4th, all 58 county officials throughout California began mailing voting ballots. After talking to some voters, some seem to have a new candidate in mind already. Beyond that, there are issues that the new governor should face as soon as they arrive in Sacramento. Let's take a listen.
The California dream.
61 candidates are running in the top two primary for governor of California on June 2nd, but only 7 lead in polling and media attention, who are exposing their policy agendas through several political debates.
Oil from thousands.
Among these 7 candidates, only 2 are Republicans, former TV host and businessman Steve Hilton and Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, and the rest are Democrats.
For the first time in many decades.
Housing, the economy, immigration, and healthcare are just some of the topics these candidates have addressed throughout their political campaigns and the debates. But some voters already have in mind which topic or topics the new governor should address immediately upon arriving in Sacramento.
Lower taxes for sure, more affordable cost of living.
I think I like the direction in general that the government, California is going.
Considering California has the most expensive gas prices in the country, AAA reports that a gallon of gas in the Golden State is over $6, nearly $2 above the national average of just $4.52 a gallon. This seems to be another matter that concerns many Californians.
I would like to see gas prices get lowered a little bit.
Yes, should go back down.
Considering that May 18th is the last day to register to vote in California for the primary June 2nd elections, some voters seem to have a clear idea of who might win this race, even though there seems to be no front-runner.
As of right now, I'd be voting for Javier Becerra.
Why is that?
I just think that in this race, he has the most experience of any of these candidates.
The top 2 candidates, regardless of party, will advance to the midterm elections on November 3rd. Come November, voters could elect the first female governor in state history, or possibly they could vote for the first Latino governor in more than 150 years. Voting polls will open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on June 2nd. I'm reporting live for Kenyans News. I'm Julian Alvarado.
Thanks, Julian. More on the state's gas prices as the U.S. and Iran standoff in the Strait of Hormuz continues. Californians are paying over more $1 than the national average at $6 a gallon. The pinch comes from two of the state's major refineries closing within the last 6 months. The cut represents 20% of the state's fuel-making capacity. Reports say a final shipment of gas in Long Beach will be the last until the Iran war is resolved. Some relief may come for drivers, though. Large tankers from foreign suppliers are expected to come from the Gulf Coast. Experts anticipate the tankers are expected to meet fuel demands for the next 6 months if there are no complications.
Following the New York Times investigation into sexual abuse and assault allegations against Cesar Chavez, many schools and educators across California and beyond have reevaluated how his legacy is taught. Reporter Paul Anderson has more on how lesson plans now highlight the broader nature of the farm worker movement.
In 1962, Cesar Chavez, along with co-organizer Dolores Huerta, founded the National Farm Workers Association, an organization that worked to defend farm workers' rights through nonviolent marches, boycotts, and fasts. Chavez was the voice of the farm worker and helped to galvanize the larger Chicano movement of the 1960s and 1970s. His likeness was memorialized in statues, murals, and street signs everywhere.
In March of this year, the New York Times reported allegations against Cesar Chavez that had an emotional and academic effect on Chicano, Chicana, Chicanx ethnic studies. Things changed. Educators and students alike are grappling with feelings of shock, grief, and questions about Chavez's place in history.
We have to tell the story, right? Because it's part of the larger narrative, right? It acknowledges the reality that social movements are not perfect, because if we're not focusing or asking the questions of how we deal with these internally within our communities as well, or our social movements, then communities and social movements are bound to repeat these same things.
Shortly after the allegations surfaced, Dolores Huerta, in a New York Times interview, said these words: "The farm worker movement has always been bigger and far more important than any one individual." Educators seem to agree that while the Chavez allegations can't be erased, his work for farm workers and the movement he started are still alive today. For Canyons News, this is Paul Anderson.
From packed streets to tense confrontations, protests can shift in a matter of seconds. After recent incidents sparked new concerns about public safety, local communities are asking what people can do to stay protected while making their voices heard.
Crowds gathering, emotions running high, and voices demanding to be heard. Protests can quickly become unpredictable. As more people take the streets, it's good to know what to do in precarious situations. A meeting was held at College of the Canyons to give important tips and information about how you should handle yourself during protests. Students gathered for a protest safety meeting focused on preparation, de-escalation, and knowing your rights.
The different rights that we have, I think one that kind of shocked me was you have access to medical help immediately. And I feel like when I see it on the news and everything, that it's people suffering from not getting that medical attention.
Answering this question, I feel that's a no. I feel that some people, they just jump into protest for, an aesthetic or for social media. That's just from my perspective. I'm not saying it's always like that for everybody else. But I feel that anyone that's new to protesting or anything like that and they want to get involved, definitely find the community. Definitely get yourself familiar before you jump in. Because I'm scared for, our generation that we just jump into it, jump to conclusions.
While many protests remain peaceful, some incidents have raised questions about safety and the use of force. The Los Angeles Times reports 2 men suffered life-changing injuries during recent Los Angeles demonstrations and are now pursuing legal action.
They may understand them going into the protest, but what happens during a protest is that things change quickly, right? So whether there's law enforcement or agitators or whether there's an individual, an emergency, right? There's something going on. I think people can forget about their rights and not really understand how to exercise them.
As demonstrations continue to bring attention to important issues across the country, officials and organizers alike say preparation and awareness can make all the difference. Whether intending to support a cause or simply staying informed, knowing how to stay safe remains a key part of exercising the right to protest. From Canyons News, I'm Nicholas Hernandez.
Coming up next on Canyons News, reporter Elena Guzman captures how COC's Native American Student Support Program honors the indigenous culture and victims of violence.
Stretching, deep breaths, and relaxation. Gilchrist Farms welcomes visitors for a yoga session unlike any other. Stay tuned. Canyons News will return after this break.
When breaking news happens, we're always there first. The student-driven news agency at College of the Canyons is dedicated to give you the headlines, the facts, and the stories that matter to you. Santa Clarita stories told by the journalists of tomorrow. This is Canyons News. Catch us every other Wednesday on Facebook and YouTube at 9 p.m.
Social media has become part of everyday life for many college students, but some say constant scrolling may be affecting their mental health. Reporter Valerie Diaz spoke with students and a psychology professor about its impact on students.
For many college students, checking social media has become a part of their daily routine. Whether it's scrolling through videos, reposting content, or responding to notifications, students say they spend hours online every day. In a Canyons News survey of 40 students, the average student reported spending over just 5 hours a day on social media. And when asked how social media affects their mental health, 32 out of 40 students said the impact was negative.
I'll be doing assignments or trying to study, but my phone or laptop are always right next to me, so I'll get distracted and end up watching YouTube or TikTok or Instagram Reels.
Psychology professor Rebecca Shepard says social media can impact students emotionally and academically.
A lot of students anecdotally report, feeling emotionally drained, anxious, inadequate, based on social media use and what they perceive others are experiencing.
According to Shepard, excessive social media use can also affect students beyond the classroom.
The sleep deprivation then can contribute to irritability, trouble focusing, impairments in learning and memory.
While students continue to rely on social media for entertainment and communication, being aware of screen time may help students create healthier habits online.
In using social media, that they utilize a mindful approach and be very aware of how much time they're spending on social media each day.
As social media continues to play a major role in students' lives, conversations about its impact on mental health are becoming more common on college campuses. For Canyons News, I'm Valerie Diaz.
Alina, thank you for coming here and sharing such an important, impactful story.
I couldn't agree more. You mind telling us a little bit more?
Absolutely. Well, wearing red for awareness, COC's Native American Student Support and Success Program honored the missing and murdered Indigenous women and relatives. I personally took a look on how they educated students on this nationwide issue. May 4th to the 8th is National Call to Action Week for missing and murdered Indigenous women and relatives, and COC's Native American Student Support and Services Program is at the forefront.
And we celebrate those that have lost their lives. We honor those that have lost their lives, and we want to bring that awareness to the greater community so that this issue not persist anymore.
The program organized an event on campus, sharing the culture, acknowledging the issue, educating students, and bringing in guest speakers to share stories.
As Indigenous people, it's like, well, I feel like I don't blend in because I'm not skin color of everybody else in the room. But what matters is that you're in that room, you're in that circle with everybody else.
According to the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center, 56.1% of Indigenous women have experienced sexual violence. And other data shows that Native American and Alaska Natives take up a big portion of those that are murdered and missing. The rates are higher than the national average. Students in attendance were encouraged to wear red in reference to the red hand. The red hand symbolizes the voices of victims and families who had theirs stripped away from them.
It honors my daughter Aaliyah Toscano because she did get justice for wrongful death, negligence, and special relations. So fighting for what is right and teaching our people that we have to hold others accountable for the neglect.
The program also highlighted Native traditions and culture through music and instruments. Awareness events like this teach us that advocacy is very important for everyone, honoring the ones who are impacted by this issue and educating those who can make sure these voices are heard.
Awareness can look like a sign, it could look like a conversation, awareness can look like a color, awareness can look like someone's hair, awareness can look like a song. I think awareness means community coming together, banding for something, for a cause, for something bigger than all of us.
If you are interested in learning about Native American history, COC is offering a Native history course in the fall semester. Leah, Terry, back to you guys.
Thank you, Lena. The Valencia Library has much to offer to the community. It's not just a place to rent out books, but a place to let creativity fly. Here's Canyon's news reporter Catherine Montenegro on how the Valencia Library is giving to its community.
Santa Clarita's Valencia Library isn't just a place of reading and renting out books. It offers a fun, unique, and creative space to everyone.
We run events seasonally. We target teens, adults, and kids, and we try and do something weekly for each age group. It's free to the public. There's no registration required. You can just come and have fun.
There are many events held on a weekly basis, each catering to a specific activity. This creates a new space for people to come in and explore their interests.
The events we hold on help build our community. They help give the kids some place to go to, some place to have some creative freedom. They give a place to socialize that is outside of their day-to-day school life or outside of home.
These events help provide a great alternative to technology, allowing the community to come together and do activities that help them socialize.
I think there is something to be said for doing things with your hands, for kind of using your creative brain. Whether it's a STEM program or an art program, it really is important to do something with your hands.
And then schedules on when each activity is held can be found on the Valencia Public Library website, as well as for those in other Santa Clarita branch libraries.
I see all the time people saying, what can my teens do? Where can I take my kids? What's some low-cost sort of stuff? And we have stuff for everybody, families, adults, kids, free stuff. Story time, they love having that free story time program because it allows their kids to come and socialize and stuff.
The Valencia Library keeps its doors open to those who want to stop by and take part in its various activities. For Canyons News, I'm Catherine Montenegro.
Mother's Day took center stage last Sunday, but there was a holiday celebrated worldwide that you probably did not know about. Reporter Cole Sand has more.
Oh, you already got them.
Donkeys can be found on every continent, except for Antarctica. However, they may be some of the most underappreciated animals in the world. That's why on World Donkey Day this past Friday, I went to Hart Park to see what makes these animals so special.
We love donkeys. They're very intelligent, they're herd protectors, and they're just a lot of fun.
Donkeys thrive in dry and desert regions, which is why sunny Southern California makes for a great habitat. All of Hart Park's donkeys live long lives due to their incredible care and perfect living environment. Donkeys are extremely special creatures. They're super gentle, as you can see, and they love treats. And everyone here at Hart Park absolutely loves racing them.
They'll actually protect the rest of the herd. highly intelligent, very easily trained. And I know, for instance, the BLM have a lot of wild burros that they're always trying to find homes for. So they make a great pet.
In addition to donkeys, Hart Park is home to a variety of animals, such as pigs, cockatoos, and even American bison. Rachel says there's a lot to learn from these animals.
Understand their intelligence, because they are intelligent and they do have needs, and they let you know those needs, and when you're around them, it's just such a great learning tool to help you with all areas of your life. So, because they're our greatest teachers, I believe.
It's completely free to learn from these animals at Hart Park. The barnyard is open from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Tuesday through Sunday, and the animals are always excited for visitors. For Canyons News, you want one too? I'm Cole Sand.
Baby goats, yoga mats, and lots of laughter. One local farm is bringing people together through a workout that's a little less serious and a lot more adorable. Reporter Deborah Morth takes us there.
At Gilchrist Farm, yoga comes with a few unexpected interruptions.
Goat yoga started here at Gilchrist Farm several years back. I laughed a little bit about it, thinking, who wants to do yoga with goats?
During class, staying focused can be a real challenge as curious goats wander from mat to mat looking for attention.
But once I saw the first goat yoga session, I saw the light that those goats put in people's eyes and the incredible opportunity it gives.
But once the classes began, the baby goats quickly became the stars of the show.
We raise a variety of goats. Our primary goats are Nubians, and we breed them annually. So this year, we have 5 beautiful babies that are still with us, 2 sets of beautiful twins, and a little tiny guy. They were so fun for goat yoga, jumping around, visiting everyone.
The yoga classes give visitors a chance to relax, laugh, and interact with the farm's newest baby goats up close.
In today's session, we used all babies. We often use older goats too that are very curious and very friendly. What we're looking for goat yoga is a goat that is naturally curious about people. So when you're otherwise engaged, doing your downward dog, here comes a goat to investigate what you're doing, and it's just so much fun.
At Gilchrist Farm, it's clear the goats are enjoying the experience just as much as the people. This is Deborah Morth reporting for Canyons News.
Canyons News reporter Sochi Moya meets with a 2-time bodybuilding champion and local Santa Clarita small business owner to introduce us to someone committed to a fit, disciplined lifestyle.
When you think of bodybuilding, you think of power and strength. And Melanie brings both into everything she does. We meet Melanie.
I got started on a health and fitness journey 13 years ago. I just felt kind of uncomfortable in my own skin, wasn't really feeling confident. I used to play sports growing up, and then after I stopped playing sports, I just felt uncomfortable.
A bodybuilding competitor, personal trainer, and a small business owner who uses her own strength to lift other women up.
How you do anything is how you do everything. And so my relationship with myself is the foundation of every relationship in my life. And for me, getting to go into a prep season to bodybuild, it's the utmost form of discipline and consistency that someone can do.
Melanie's journey started on the bodybuilding stage, where she learned discipline, focus, and mental toughness.
All excuses give you the same results. And the relationship that I have found within myself to say that I can do something, show up for it every day, and complete it has been mirrored now in every other aspect of my life.
Inside her shop, she blends more than just protein shakes. She mixes together health, confidence, and community. Her drinks are packed with vitamins and natural energy boosters.
I hope that my life is just an example of what it looks like to just take a step, take a risk, and just go for it.
From the gym to her shop to the community she builds, Melanie shows that empowerment isn't just an idea, it's a lifestyle. I am Sochi Moya, reporting for Canyons News.
The force was strong in Santa Clarita Monday night as fans gathered at Central Park to celebrate Star Wars Day. Reporter Michael Garcia takes us to the world with lightsabers, food trucks, and an outdoor screening of Star Wars.
Star Wars fans from across Santa Clarita came together Monday night at Central Park for the city's first ever May the 4th Be With You celebration. Hosted by the city of Santa Clarita, the event featured food trucks, a lightsaber battle zone, a parkour course, and live entertainment before the showing of Star Wars: A New Hope. Families, longtime fans, and young children dressed as their favorite characters while enjoying activities inspired by the iconic franchise.
I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I came out here to, spread some joy, with the costume, take some pictures, and just help bring the love to a franchise that I love so much.
Organizers encouraged attendees to dress up, turning the park into a galaxy filled with Jedi robes, stormtrooper helmets, and glowing lightsabers. For many at the event, Star Wars is more than just a movie franchise. It's a lifelong connection that continues bringing fans together across generations.
I've been a Star Wars fan for most of my life. I watched it for the first time when I was in kindergarten, first grade, and I've loved it ever since. And the Star Wars and its community have been such a huge part of my life.
The city says it hopes events like this continue bringing the community together through entertainment and family-friendly activities. In Santa Clarita, for Canyons News, I'm Michael Garcia.
Coming up next on Canyons News, the Cougars men's golf team played for the state title out in Palm Springs. Stick around to see how they did.
And we serve up a behind-the-scenes look at how one freshman star takes the pressure one game at a time. Stay tuned. Canyons News will return right after this break.
In a world full of noise, truth still matters.
Most importantly, lives are protected.
At Canyons News, we go beyond the headlines.
She called 911 when the school didn't act.
Bringing you stories that reflect the heart of Santa Clarita.
But until the influence of a city like Los Angeles.
And the voices of College of the Canyons. When fires erupt, we're there. When guns are drawn, we're there. Honest, dependable, critical. See your community through the lens of balanced journalism. Canyons News, where your story meets the truth.
Now, Michael, I'm hearing some of our sports teams have had quite the season the past couple of months. Isn't that right, Terry?
I agree.
Thanks, guys. The Cougars men's golf team is celebrating their third straight 3C2 a state championship. The team set out to Silver Rock Resort out in sweltering Palm Springs this past Sunday and Monday, and after being down by 6 shots in round 1, the Cougars rallied ahead of host school College of the Desert. COC finished with a 581 shot total, pulling ahead of Desert's 584 in the end. Anthony Nilsson, who scored 69 in both rounds, won the individual state title. His 138 score narrowly places him 2 shots ahead of Desert's golfer St. John's Armstrong's 140. The Cougars softball postseason has come to an end as they were eliminated by Saddlebacks College in the Super Regional round. The first game, the Cougars lost 9-3 on May 8th, and then the second game was lost 11-2 and ended early due to a mercy rule. This was after the Cougars eliminated Cerritos in 3 games in the first round. Behind every big win is pressure most people never see. Reporter Gigi Monteforte takes us inside the story of Emma Choder and the mindset helping her handle the expectations of being at the top.
For Emma Choder, pressure follows every match. As one of the top junior college tennis players in California and the newly named WC Player of the Year, expectations don't disappear when she steps onto the court, they grow. But being the best comes with pressure. Pressure to win, pressure to lead, and pressure to constantly prove yourself. And while fans see the victory, Emma says there's another side people don't always notice.
First, I did have a lot of high expectations for myself just because I was Player of the Year and everyone was looking at me and always watching my match and stuff like that. So you kind of seem like, it's like, shoot, I really have to perform well for these people, but I switched that mentality pretty quickly, and before a match, I just think about, you know, playing the best tennis I can, and if I can't do that, then it was their day and it wasn't my day.
But beyond the rankings and recognition, teammates and coaches say Emma's impact comes from who she is off the court. A competitor, but also a teammate, leader, and someone who keeps the team grounded.
She's been a treasure to us. She's such a nice person, and she's such a good motivator and such a good captain on and off the court that everybody kind of looks up to her, and that does wonders for our program.
And in a sport where athletes can become consumed by ranking and results, separating herself from the scoreboard changed everything. Because no matter the outcome of a match, she knows her value stays the same.
Like I was doing so well in my matches that I couldn't afford to lose a match. But then I realized that, you know, it's just a number.
While the pressure to stay on top never fully disappears, Emma continues to handle it the same way she plays the game, with composure, confidence, and heart. For Canyons News, I'm Gigi Monteforte.
College of the Canyons athletes Hazel Rhodes and Monique Fulling are headed to the state championship Mount Sac meet after capturing individual 3C 2A SoCal titles in Bakersfield. Rhodes won the 400 meters with a time of 54.32, while Fulling claimed the 400 hurdles title in 1 minute 2 seconds. The two Cougar standouts now look to carry that momentum into this weekend's state championship Mount Sac meet. Turning to some big high school news, a West Ranch sophomore made a big splash at the CIF Southern Section Division I Finals. Emma Hussein, who rolled through the Foothill League Finals 2 weeks ago, did it again this past Saturday. Emma's time of 1 minute and 57 seconds in the 200 IM not only shattered the school record, but is now the 34th fastest time ever recorded in the 15-16 age group. Emma also helped the West Ranch girls to a win in the 200 medley relay. A local Santa Clarita high school is making history with one of their newest additions for their league-winning sports programs. Reporter Riley Scott has more.
One team, one family, one valley. That's the motto here at Golden Valley High School, where they've just appointed the youngest varsity basketball coach in Foothill League history. Let's take a deeper dive into the story and see how this is going to affect the program moving forward. 24-year-old Miguel Mayorga has just been named the varsity basketball head coach at Golden Valley High School. And it wasn't just based on luck. He earned his spot to get here. Miguel has spent the last 2 years at Golden Valley gaining experience and learning the ropes on what it takes to get to the highest level. As the junior varsity head coach, he led his team through his 2 years to a combined record of 23 wins and 2 losses, along with this previous year going undefeated with a 12-0 record as well as a league championship. Miguel explained to me what this accomplishment meant to him as a person and as a mentor at such a young age.
It means everything to me. You know, like I said, this is something I've always wanted. It's a dream come true, and I've built relationships with everybody in this community, and I get to make young men better young men.
Miguel has left an impact on almost everyone who comes through his program, especially former Player of the Year Donovan Webb, who credited a lot of his success throughout his high school career to the young coach.
I feel like I've gotten a lot of confidence through him. So, a lot of those games where I took over, he helped me get there. I feel like he helped me develop as a player. He trained me for a little bit as well. So I just feel like I've been able to unlock a certain mentality through him, and he's definitely helped me get to the level that I'm at right now.
Even with Miguel being one of a kind, making history here in the Santa Clarita Valley, to him, it's all business, as he looks to build a strong culture here at Golden Valley and left the fans with this message: get ready to win. Reporting from Canyons News, I'm Riley Scott.
That does it for this edition of Canyons News.
Be sure to subscribe and follow Canyons News on any social media platform you use.
On behalf of our entire Canyons News team, have a good night, everybody.